Decided to pop in and do a quick talk today about women's low desire in long-term monogamous relationships. Because this is something that I see quite often in my practice. Women popping up, women showing up with their partners, lack of desire, not really interested, very common thing that I see. And, I think common rhetoric has us believing that women are just less sexual, less interested, like have, lower drives and all that, all of that stuff. And I'm here to give you a different perspective on it. Okay. I talk about this here and there, but maybe not so much here. Maybe there. I have a theory as to why. And there's a lot of kind of books out in my industry around it. Like there's Esther Perel's Mating in Captivity. She doesn't dive too much in it, but the title says it all, Mating in Captivity, right? There's a book by Wednesday Martin called Untrue. And then, of course, there's Sex at Dawn, which is one of my favorite books. And I think all of them should be read because they kind of give us insight into what our true nature is around human sexuality. And I think that we've come away from that pretty significantly. We live in a time where everybody lives in nuclear families. Nuclear family, let me say, is the normative, kind of expected in our culture, right? Nuclear family meaning there's a mom and a dad and the kids and they all live in one house together. As opposed to, if you go to some other cultures, and a lot of this is fading fast. I know from, historically my family is from India, and in India, it was common for the sons to stay in their family home and the wives to move in with them. And so you'd have extended family living with you. That's kind of disappearing. Like youngsters are moving out on their own as well. So this is widespread, even in, sort of lesser developed countries like India, which is no longer a lesser developed country. So scratch that. But I think I digress a little bit because what is really the issue here is that we have become disconnected from our primal ways of being. And we're eating more processed foods. We're living in nuclear families, like in boxes separate from each other. And then we're wondering why we are losing passion and desire in our long-term relationships. Wouldn't that happen if you were not being, what you're sort of evolutionarily, biologically supposed to be doing? The other thing too is, human beings were nomadic by nature, traveling, moving when they needed more food or when the weather got bad, right? So none of that is happening anymore. We travel for fun, we travel for pleasure, we travel for work, but we rarely travel because we've run out of food, unless you're living in the North Poles or something like that in the extreme in some tribal community. We're not doing that. And so I think it's really important to look at the big picture when we look at libido. And all of that is to say that libido may not thrive in a nuclear family, i.e. monogamous situation. So it's no wonder we're seeing a more rise in ethical non-monogamy and polyamory, because that might be more of our natural way of being. And that might be somewhere to look if you're interested in getting your desire back. I'm in no way suggesting that you've got to be non-monogamous. That's not my role here. I'm not trying to change you, just trying to impart some information that might be a little bit helpful for you to understand if you've lost desire, if your libido feels a little bit low, what actually might be going on for you. So that's it for my PSA today. I hope you enjoyed it.